Bro, some Supercell games really fell off. Like, some of these games are in a critical state right now. Either they're on a brink of getting discontinued, or people just simply forgot the game even exists. But regardless of the games that fell off, I think it's safe to say that Supercell is one of the best gaming developers when it comes to making mobile games. Like, they're definitely on the Mount Rushmore for best mobile games in my opinion. And I think we can all agree that they created some pretty iconic games. Like, the most notable ones are Clash of Clans, Brawl Stars, and Clash Royale. Now, those three are the most popular games, of course, and I'm almost sure that most of you that's watching this video probably got introduced to Supercell through one of those games. But what about the other 4 Supercell games? There's probably a high chance you either never heard of these games or you've never cared enough to even download it and try it out. Now, in order to understand why these Supercell games fell off, we have to start from the very top. It is the year 2012 and Supercell finally released their first official game, Heyday. This game was a farming simulator, and the whole point of this game was to make it as cozy as possible. And some people can make the argument that this was probably the best farming simulator at the time. Like, the quality was pretty top tier if you was to ask me. I mean, the crops literally was able to sway back and forth in the wind. Back then, that was super impressive, because we all know mobile games during the early 2010s were either terrible, like as far as the quality, or the animations were very basic. So I would have to say that Supercell put out a pretty high quality game during that time. And the thing that made Heyday stand out the most was the fact that it had no energy system. And this was a complete shocker because most mobile games during this time had some type of energy system. To put it in simple terms, it's basically a limit on how long players can play. Like, for example, most free-to-play mobile games had this energy system to be able to sell players microtransactions a lot easier. And this was super important to them because, I mean, the game is free, so like they have to make their money some way. And this is why adding some type of energy or lives to mobile games was so popular. Because if you made it far on a level and you die, you'll be more inclined to buy more lives so you can progress even further. This is something games like Candy Crush was really known for. You die, you gotta spend some cash. Because I mean, most of the time you're either forced to wait until everything replenish, or you gotta watch some stupid ads that you don't care about. And even games like the Simpsons mobile game, it required energy to continue to play. Once you run out of energy, you have to do the same exact thing. Either you pay for more energy or you just wait until it replenishes. So the fact that Heyday took away the energy system, it made people feel like Supercell wasn't just trying to take all their money, because they made the game easy to enjoy without spending any type of money. And that was honestly the perfect formula for long-term success, considering how many games were pushing the whole pay or wait system. Now, despite how successful it was at launch, Heyday slowly began to lose players over time. But what actually went wrong? Well, to put it in simple terms, the downfall of Heyday all stems from one thing. And that one thing is the game is just outdated. Like, farming simulators was pretty cool for its time, but now mobile gaming is not what it used to be, if I'm being real. Like, majority of games are becoming more competitive as time passes. And with how many games are being developed now, players are no longer looking for a simple, relaxing game. Like, they want something that's going to have a high skill ceiling. Like, you get what I mean? Like, basically something that's going to make them grind. I don't think growing carrots and feeding chickens is exciting anymore. At least for kids that's like 15 and up. I mean, bro, they want to shoot stuff. And I truly believe the lack of innovation is what stopped this game from growing. Like, don't get me wrong, Supercell is still updating Heyday, but most updates is pretty bare bones. Like, them adding new crops and decorations isn't something I would consider innovating. Like, I get it's a farming simulator, but I think they could have done something different to give the game a new life. Now, there is a small chance they can see a huge spike in downloads pretty soon, because there's this game called Grow Garden, and to be honest, it's pretty popular. Like, I think it's on like Roblox and Fortnite or something, but I'm pretty sure y'all know what game I'm talking about. And since that game is so popular, there is a small chance that people might go looking for other games that's similar. And I mean, that game is pretty much Heyday. But only time will tell if this game will actually make a comeback. Now, and I can't say the same thing for this next game, because it seems like they might have dug their own grave before they even released the game officially. And that game was Boom Beach. This game was basically a copy and paste of Clash of Clans if I'm being honest. It literally had the same exact game formula. Build and upgrade your base, defend it from enemy attacks, train troops, attack other players for loot, and wait for upgrades to finish. That's legit Clash of Clans. Like, the main difference between both games is Boom Beach has military stuff in it and Clash of Clans has medieval stuff. Now, there was a few things that made Boom Beach pretty cool in my opinion. Like, they gave players the ability to control the troops and choose exactly where they're going to land. And you can even use a gunship to fire missiles. Like, I ain't gonna lie, that's pretty fire. You can also use healing items during battle, and you can use flares to guide your troops in different directions, which is pretty tough. And Supercell even added a better story mode experience because the story mode in Clash of Clans was pretty bare bones. I mean, you're basically just stuck fighting goblins. Now in Boom Beach, you fight against this evil military called Blackguard. They're basically the villains in the story mode, so you're gonna be seeing them a lot. Blackguard whole objective is to travel to different islands, invade them, and anyone that's living on that island get forced to work for them for free. They ain't even paying them. And your job as the player is to stop these islands from being taken over and defeat the Blackguards in the process. I would have to say that the story mode definitely carried this game. But although the story mode was pretty interesting, Boom Beach honestly suffered from the same exact mistake like Heyday. They didn't innovate enough. Like, the whole base building and attack formula was already being dominated by Clash of Clans. So it was kinda no room for Boom Beach to begin with. Like, you walked into a genre that was already being dominated by a game you made. Which is crazy because I didn't see the point of them making this game because, bro, you made a copy and paste of a game you already have that's extremely successful. So why try to replicate that? I mean, obviously we know Supercell, Greedy Cell. We know they want all their money, so it makes sense why they will try to replicate the same exact success, which wasn't smart at the end of the day. And I'm not gonna lie, I feel like most players never even made the switch over to Boom Beach because they already made so much progress with their Clash of Clans account. Like, there's people out there that grinded for years. Why would they throw that all away to a watered down version of the original? And not only that, the whole military style wasn't really appealing to most kids. I think it's safe to say that. Like, most kids or younger teenagers would probably prefer a fantasy medieval style. Like, I'm gonna put this in perspective for you. If you have the choice to watch either an army movie or a movie with dragons spitting out fire out their mouth and wizards running all around shooting fireballs at goblins, I'm pretty sure you would prefer watching that movie over an army movie. And if I can choose one thing that stopped Boom Beach from truly surpassing Clash of Clans, I'll have to say the lack of social engagement. Like, Boom Beach social features was significantly weaker. The clan operations was minimal and PvP interactions was super limited. You were basically stuck just fighting computers all day. And even the updates was pretty bad. And things even got worse when Supercell started to work on new games. Like, the marketing budget was starting to get smaller and smaller as years go by. But this next game I'm going to talk about was being marketed so much that even Supercell biggest content creators tried forcing their audience to love this game, and that game was Moko. It's an action RPG game, and it takes place in a universe where you're hired as a hunter by a company called Moko. Yeah, it's the same name as the game. Clever thinking, Supercell. Now, your job as the hunter is to travel between parallel universes with the portal technology that was given to you by the company you work for now. And each of these parallel universes is populated by creatures called Chaos Monsters, which they're actually trying to invade Earth. The company you work for also got a hold of this weird corrupting force that's being used by the Chaos Monsters and hunters to defend themselves. It's called Chaos Energy. This whole Chaos Energy thing is pretty much the resource of this game. You need it to upgrade gear and to upgrade your weapons as well. The thing I like about Moko is how you're actually able to control your character versus just letting it move by itself. Normally stuff like this is always a attention grabber to me. It's always more immersive when you can actually control your character. And there is a couple of characters that follow you throughout the entire story. I think them adding different characters really make the story a lot more interesting. And especially since they all have different personalities, it makes it pretty easy to get attached to them. And the gameplay is pretty decent. Like, I honestly can see Moko being like a PC game because the mechanics is pretty cool. But with the game that was so heavily marketed by Supercell and a ton of content creators, how was it even possible for Moko to even fall off? Well, if I'm being honest, the biggest issue a ton of people disliked was how bad the matchmaking was. Like, most people would try to queue into a lobby to play against other real players. But since the matchmaking was so bad, most of the time you were stuck fighting bots, which made it way too easy to win. Like, realistically, who wanna fight against bots all day? That gets boring pretty quick. And what hurt Moko the most had to be the lack of content. Like, I think we can all agree that Supercell created Moko as a testbed. It honestly felt like they were trying to see how far they can branch out by making a game that's completely different from what they normally make. Which, don't get me wrong, I like seeing gaming companies get out of their comfort zone. But considering Supercell is technically still testing the waters with Moko, the content updates are coming slower than most games they have. And this isn't a good thing because players who actually enjoy this game are just stuck playing the same thing over and over. And we all know where that leads to. It leads to the game feeling very repetitive. But there was even something that was worse than the slow updates. It was how Supercell handled their progression system. After each chapter, your player level is reset back to Elite Level 1. And to help you better understand why this is a huge issue for players who actually grind this game, basically them getting resetted back to Level 1 results in them losing all their resources they've been collecting all month. And just like any RPG game, these resources isn't easy to get. It literally takes a ton of grinding to stack up these resources. And for those who've never played an RPG game, let me put it this way. Resources in games like this are really important to have because it gives your character a ton of buff ups, like more damage dealing, better armor, and better cosmetics. And we all know that having better armor and better weapons and just stuff like that in general is crucial to progressing against harder boss fights. Like, I think that applies to any game, even outside of an RPG. So the fact that Supercell is taking away everyone's resources after each chapter, it almost felt like you're grinding for nothing. It's basically meaningless if I'm being real. Like, what's the point of grinding a game if everything you work so hard for is taken away? And I think stuff like this is the reason most players don't even want to play this game anymore. And the crazy part is, even the Supercell creators are starting to take notice of the decline of Moko. Which sucks seeing that because they were the ones promoting it so heavy. Now, I genuinely think Moko can be an even bigger game than what it is. Because, let's be real, it's really unique for a Supercell game. And when something is so unique, it always have potential to be great. But this next game I'm going to talk about made everyone think this was going to be the next best Supercell game. But I guess we were all wrong, because it looked like Supercell decided to pull the plug on them for good. And that game is Squad Busters. This game was pretty unique because it was a hybrid of a battle royale and a party brawler. It was designed to be fun and chaotic and not taken too serious. In Squad Busters, you load into a lobby with 9 other players, and at the beginning of each match, you start off with just one character. And your goal is to recruit as many heroes, or squaddies is what they call it, to build a strong team before you fight the other 9 players. But in order to recruit heroes, you have to collect coins first, and you use these coins to open up chests, which normally contains a hero or a squaddie inside. What made this game pretty cool was how every Supercell IP was a usable hero, which was a really smart idea because the game literally catered to everyone. Like, if you're a fan of Clash Royale, well, guess what? They got heroes in there that you can use. And if you're a fan of Brawl Stars, guess what? They got you covered. And I'm not gonna lie, Squad Busters was really cooking when it came to the skins, because this Spike skin right here is so fire. Like, we need this to be in Brawl Stars as soon as possible. And honestly, that's what I liked about this game the most. They made skins you wouldn't even think was possible. And to be honest, Squad Busters started off pretty strong when it first dropped. Like, they had some pretty impressive numbers. They racked in 40 million downloads in the first week. That's really good. Well, at least to most people, because Supercell saw the complete opposite. They looked at it as a total failure in their eyes, which is totally understandable, because at the end of the day, they are the ones pouring millions of dollars into developing the game. So I can see why they were so quick to pull the plug if they didn't see their return on their investment. Plus, we all know that Supercell's main goal is to make every game loved for years. Like, they legit say it every time they get the opportunity. I mean, they even said it at the whole San Diego Comic-Con press thing. But what even made Squad Busters a flop? I mean, it had everyone's favorite IP in it, so you would think it would cater to everyone, right? Well, unfortunately, that wasn't the case. The biggest issue with Squad Busters was how repetitive the gameplay was. Like, there was only a few game modes, and most of the game modes, players said that they got boring really quick. And what made it worse is you wasn't even able to choose the game mode you want to play. Like, it chose it for you. Like, there was this post I seen on Reddit, and this player was expressing how frustrating it was to play Squad Busters. He said, "Why can't they let us choose the game mode? I would play Doppelganger all day if I could choose, as that mode is actually fun to me. I hate having to play annoying and boring game modes." See, stuff like this is what really makes people dislike a game. Because why can't players just have the option to play any game mode they want? And normally, most devs do this to force people into playing other game modes. Which I get it because they want everyone to have the full experience, but let players make their decision. Like, it's not that hard. Because forcing people to play boring game modes is going to make them get burnt out from the game super quick. And the crazy part is, this is an issue that could have been avoided so easily. Just let the player play any game mode they want. It's literally that simple. But real talk, I think Supercell should start taking their time when it comes to dropping these new games, because it's getting to a point where every time they drop a new game, it flops within a couple of months. In fact, this is only a fraction of failed games Supercell made. Like, there's some games that was so terrible they didn't even do the soft launch. Maybe I'll cover that topic in my next video. Like, let me know how y'all feel about that. But I think I'm gonna wrap up today's video. I honestly hope you guys enjoyed this, and also I'm planning on putting other Supercell content on this channel besides just Brawl Stars stuff, because since I don't do gameplay videos, it's kind of hard to pump out videos. So I figured if I do other Supercell content stuff, I won't be limited to like only Brawl Stars. And plus, it'll keep me from getting burnt out because I literally play Brawl Stars like every single day. I mean, look at my streak. I'm being so serious. But other than that, let me know if you want to see more content like this. I'll catch you guys later.